if I give you a couple of, let me give you a couple of examples of this kind of influence. There was, in the 50s, instant foods, convenience foods were put on the market. So you've got Betty Crocker Foods puts out instant cake mix. And from doing focus groups and talking to people, talking to women, what they concluded was, put them on the market, women will buy them. But what happens? Nobody's buying them. I think it's 1955, instant cake mixes on the market, nobody's buying them.
1955?
Yeah. So what is Betty Crocker, run by General Mills, what do they want to do? They want to find out what do we do to get these selling. So they hired a gentleman named Dichter, who was a psychoanalyst. Studied, I think, with Freud. I think he might even...
50s, they went to that extreme to market something. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, in the 50s? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How did NLP existed?
No,
back then?
not at all. The basis, back then it was psychoanalysis. So Freud had invented psychoanalysis with the basic precept that we've got an unconscious mind. There was, you know, his model was the id, the ego, and the superego, but that there's this unconscious mind, and deep in the unconscious are hidden all kinds of drives and impulsions and motivations that we're not aware of. So Dichter starts to, I think he held focus groups, met with American women, and wanted to find out why aren't they buying, and what his principle was that they're not aware of why they're not buying, so we can't ask them, because in focus groups they said, yeah, we'll buy it if it's on the market. So by asking them questions, and what he would do is he would not ask them direct questions. He would ask them questions and get them talking, and read between the lines to find what's behind the scenes in the mind that's the barrier to them buying this cake mix. And what he determined was that the barrier is an unconscious feeling of guilt that they have. Because if they buy a cake mix and all they do is add water, they're not actually doing they're not actually contributing. They're not actually putting any effort into, back then it was the role of the woman to sort of satisfy her husband, so they're not actually contributing. So there's a feeling of guilt. So what does Dichter say? He says, change the instructions on the cake mix to add an egg. And if the woman adds an egg, there's some symbolism there according to him, but if a woman adds an egg, she's actually doing some work, she's putting in some effort, she's contributing, and that will resolve this unconscious feeling of guilt. So, who can guess what happens? Sales took off. Yeah. And what's the principle there? The principle is not ask someone what they want, they'll tell you, and then you can give it to them. The principle is people may not know what they want. People may not know why they're buying or why they're not buying. They'll give you a really logical and rational reason. There's an experiment that was done that's cited a lot. A woman was put in hypnosis, and while in the hypnotic state, an umbrella, open umbrella was put in her hand, and then she was brought out of hypnosis. And the hypnotist said, why do you have an umbrella? And she looked at the umbrella, sort of confused for a moment, and she said, because it was raining. So we will justify whatever we're doing with logic, whereas it may not really be the reason. And we're very good at that. We're very good at convincing ourselves, yeah, I'm doing this for a logical, rational reason.